Hi, welcome to Let's Talk with Miko. On our last episode, I gave the illustration about a puzzle that was missing pieces. The puzzle representing the adoptee's life, and the missing pieces representing the things in our lives that we felt were missing. The people, the experiences, those things that we felt we were void of. So on tonight, we're going to discuss how do we move on from that point. How do you move on when you think or you feel like you've been slighted in life? How do you move on when you feel as though this piece of the puzzle should be here in my life, but it's not? I'm going to use for reference a book that I wrote, I Survived Rejection and You Can Too. And the chapter that I want to talk about is chapter, I'll give you the right chapter, chapter 5, Free Me, Rejecting Rejection. I remember, and this is all some of the tidbits in the book, I remember once I was looking at a movie on TV, and the movie was talking about, it was a big fire in the forest. And so there are families that were trying to, run from the fire to save their lives and their families' lives. And so in the midst of the movie, the gentleman that was trying to help them told them to start a fire, make a circle, and put the fire inside the circle. Let it burn. And so the family did that. And so then they looked at him and said, now what? And the man said, now you go stand where the fire has already burned. That's where I want you to stand. And the point of that was, the fire was not going to burn an area that was already burned. In other words, sometimes you have to identify where you are, identify how you feel, identify what has happened so that the enemy won't use that thing against you in a negative way. Another point of reference, whenever you are getting immunization from the doctor, babies get it, we have gotten it through our lives. What they inject you with is a dormant part of the said disease or virus. They inject you with it so that your body can build up an immunity against it. And so sometimes what we want to do when we are hurting, what we want to do when we feel sad or depressed, we want to run and hide. We want to run and hide because we feel like that's a safe place to be. But in all actuality, when you say how you feel, when you say what you've done, when you confess what has happened to you, the enemy can't really use that. People can't really use that. Friends can't really use that against you because you're telling your own story. And I'm going to give another example. When a person is bitten by a snake, a venomous snake, the venom that is designed to harm you and to kill you, when you are sent to the hospital, they use venom as an means of protecting you. And so sometimes we look at things in a negative way when we can use that same thing, that same hurt to heal us. And another reason why I decided to tell my story is because for the longest I felt less than. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I felt like no matter where I go, I just don't fit in. But when you start telling your story and you start explaining to people, this is how I feel, then even in your own mind, you tend to think differently. It's like, I might not. But this is the funny part about it. You have to say what it is. You have to give the facts. Sometimes the truth is not the fact. And sometimes the facts don't look like the truth. And what I mean by that is, for instance, if you see me take this book and I just throw the book down and toss it away, the facts are the book was tossed away from my hand. The truth is, you don't know the truth until I tell you what the truth is. So that's why sometimes when we say we want the truth, you can't use your own judgmental mind to determine whether what I'm saying is right or is the truth. Because I know the truth. Now, I can tell a lie, but if I'm telling the truth, I know it's the truth as my truth. It's my truth. Might not be the facts, but it's the truth. The fact was the book fell out of my hand, was thrown out of my hand. That's the facts. The truth could be, I threw the book down to hit an ant. I threw the book down because the book was hot. I threw the book down because I was trying to hit someone with it. That all those things can be the truth. Another reason why when you go into a court of law, they ask you to raise your hand and swear to tell the truth, because you don't know if the truth is going to be the facts. And so as adoptees, we're trying to tell you how we feel, but you're judging us by your own experiences, which you can't really do. Our truth is our truth. It may not line up with the facts. I was abandoned in an apartment by my biological mom. Those are facts. The truth could be any reason what she gave. Like, if she said that the reason why she abandoned me was because, that's her truth. But all I have to go on is the facts. Now, I can choose to believe her words, her truth, or I can choose not to. That's my choice. So, as adoptees, you have to call it what it is. And what I would go around my family members, as I stated before, I didn't feel like I fit in. But what I needed to say was, maybe I don't fit in. And it's not a bad thing that I don't fit in. You know, if I don't feel like we have anything in common, if I don't feel like, you know, we don't share the same history, we don't share the same looks, we don't share the same ideas, that could be a truth that, you know, I don't fit in with this said circle. And so what you start to do is identify your true feelings on how you feel, your truth, and that way people can understand why you respond and why you act the way you do. Another thing is, you have to love yourself. When you look in the mirror, you don't see your biological mom, you don't see your biological dad, you don't see your adopted mom, your adopted dad, you don't see your siblings. What you see is yourself. And you have to love you. You have to love you independent of everything else. Loving you should not be predicated upon your family, who your mom is, who your dad is. That's not the reason why you should love you. You should love you because God created you and you are wonderfully and beautifully made. That is why you should love yourself. You should love yourself because you're unique. Those ideas that are inside of your mind, those gifts and those talents that you have, the unique expressions about your own self, you should love that about you. When you wake up and you look in the mirror and you see what the Lord has done, there's no reason why you should try to compare yourself with anyone else. You know, things do happen in our lives. We are dealt cards that we don't know how to play sometimes. But those cards are ours. And we have the opportunity to sit down and figure out how we're going to play the hand that was dealt to us. And one of the things that I've learned is that you have to be able to express yourself and don't worry about being condemned. Don't worry about being judged. Don't worry about being talked about. I remember when, I told my husband that I wanted to start the podcast. One of the things that he asked was, he said, well, when we upload the videos, do you want to disable the comments? And I said, no, I don't want to disable the comments. People are going to say what they want to say. But I'm at the point now in life where it's a good place to be, is that, I thank you for your opinion. I thank you for your suggestions. I thank you for your judging. But unless you have walked the path that I've walked, that's all you have is your truth and your opinions and your suggestions. And I will listen to it because we do draw strength in unity. We do draw, it's good to talk about things and to learn from each other and to get ideas on how to move forward and how to heal. And sometimes there are resources out there that you yourself don't know about, but someone else can share those resources with you. So, I do appreciate that. But if the story be told, I don't care. And I'm at the point where I just really don't care about the negativity that people spew out. I don't. Because at the end of the day, as I have learned, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, you are solo. The people that are talking, the people that are offended because of your truth, they're not in your lives anyway. They don't communicate with you anyway. They don't call you anyway. They don't encourage you. They don't call. They don't check on you. They don't come to see you. So it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you have to get to the point in life where you find those people that want to be in your life and you love on them. You love on those people. For the longest, I tried to run people down. I would call the aunts and call the uncles and go and see them and try to make relationships work. Not anymore. I am here and I'm okay. And those who want to be in my life, they are. The people that want to check on me, they do. The people who call, I answer. But you cannot live all your life with excuses of why you don't move on and excuses of why you don't feel as though you're successful and why you think that you're still depressed. You cannot live the rest of your life just using that as an excuse. Say how you feel and move on. The truth of the matter is, what I have experienced in life is what I have experienced in life. And so just call it what it is and move on. Another thing that I found that's helpful is that I try to minister to other people in light of what I've been through. The more you talk about what you've been through, you're helping someone else, but you're also healing yourself from the inside out. Like I said, the first thing that we want to do, especially females, we want to just hide. We want to go into a dark room, under the covers, the curtains closed, and we want to wallow in our situation alone. But that's not what we need to do. We need to get out there. We need to get ourselves together, go out there and minister to people so you can continuously be healed. Everything is not going to work in your favor all the time. It's just not. You're gonna go through situations where you didn't have any part in what you're going through. You didn't deserve it. You didn't ask for it. You didn't do anything to receive the things that you are, the negative expressions from your family members that you want to have a relationship with. But it's okay. It's just okay to move on. And so I found that talking about it, expressing how I feel, if someone says something that offends me, I say it so that I can be healed, whether they accept it, whether they believe it, and then move on. But holding bitterness and holding animosity in your heart toward people, and the reality of it is most of the people that you're holding animosity toward, they're dead. So you're never going to get those pieces back. Those pieces are gone forever. So you are left here on earth to move on. And so you do that. You take the card, take the hand that was dealt, and you move on. I am happy that I get an opportunity to share my life experience with my children so they can understand that relationships and families are what you make it. If your friend is your close friend and they want to call you brother, that could be your brother. You don't have to come from the same bloodline to be related. And I think that's important in life, especially for adoptees, because if we held on to bloodlines to feel related, a whole lot of us would feel void. And that's not what the Lord wants for us. He wants us to know that as He has adopted us, and the Word of God tells us that. And I think that, the Bible doesn't leave any stone unturned. Those things that we desire and we want in our lives, all of those questions are answered. They really are answered in the Word of God. And I thank God for being knowledgeable of the Scriptures and what it says, and the importance of being adopted. The importance of being, I remember when I used to go to the doctor, and the doctors would always ask me, did high blood pressure run in your family? Did diabetes run in your family? And I would just look at them and say, I was adopted. You figure it out. Yeah, you tell me what's wrong with me. And so that was a very powerful thing that I learned early in life, because people will put things on you, like your auntie used to do this, your uncle used to do that, this, that. But when you were adopted, you have a clean slate. And that's one advantage that we have as adoptees. We really have a clean slate. In spite of why we were given up for adoption or left abandoned. Some of us, it was for a good reason. Some of us was for a very bad reason. Needless to say, it was a reason. It was a reason. And so we have to hold on to knowing that we have a clean slate to be as great as we want to be, because we have nothing to tie us down to what they would call the bloodline. We don't have to worry about that. And that's important. It was important for me anyway, because like I said, I did get the non-identifying information, and some of those things will blow your mind. But I am glad and I'm grateful to have had the experience to go through what I went through. And it's a continuous journey to go through and to continue to go through, knowing what your past was, knowing what you've been through, knowing the questions that you always had in your mind that would never be answered. Those things used to torment me, but they don't anymore. And I would, if I could leave a word with any adoptee that's just feeling like there's something missing, there's really not. Everything that you need, everything that you ever desired is all wrapped up on the inside of you. You are here without a shadow of a doubt. You are here and you are full, you are filled, you are full, and you're filled. You don't need anything else to complete you. You are complete by yourself. You're a total vibe by yourself. All you have to do is wake up and recognize it. You have to recognize that you don't need any ties to make you who you are, because you are who you are. You are already made. You are already created. You are already here. And what happened in the past, there's nothing you can do about. There are questions you may never get the answers to. You have to be okay with that. And the way you be okay with that, you look in the mirror every day and you say, I am beautiful and I am wonderfully made. I am who God wants me to be. This is going to be a great day. All that's for me, I am going to get. And we are walking on this earth as a living testament of what the Lord can do. Because against all odds, we made it. Until next time, we'll see you. Have a great night.